Well, welcome into another episode of Views from the Bridge, your second favorite podcast about your favorite team, the Philadelphia Union. The Union are coming off of a very up and down, crazy week and lots of weird game
That's
things
diabolical.
happening. But before we
Why?
get to all of
Why?
that, my name is Justin.
Why?
Chuck, Evan,
Why?
you're both joining me
Every
tonight.
week.
How
I
are
do.
you?
Ugh. This is I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight whoever is in charge of the Wi-Fi in whatever pocket of Philadelphia that the Verizon deems. I'm okay. I'm okay. Sorry. Talking about the soccer.
You can talk
We're
about
gonna
life too.
lose.
That's totally
Well,
fine.
hey man, you know what? No, we're all right. The Union are going to another Open Cup semifinal, hopefully to a final and a win. And I was clairvoyant again this year in predicting that Paxton Aronson would return to MLS. Checks notes. Wait, maybe not quite like that. So excited for him to lead the Colorado Rapids to a ninth place finish in the Western Conference because they can't even get a scoreboard that works, let alone a roster.
That was quite the intro.
Got to make up for lost
It's a great
time.
segue into how I'm. It's a great segue into how I'm doing today.
How are you doing today, Chuck?
Yeah, what's up, Chuck?
I'm calling our friend Sobrig holding the high line because I too am transferring to the Colorado Rapids.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Just go. Like everyone else does.
I just out of everything, it's like, really?
Yeah. So I guess we can jump in with the news of the week. Two big contract situations happening for the Philadelphia Union. One is Paxton Aronson is signing with the Colorado Rapids for somewhere in the fee of $7 million. And yeah, I mean the Union will see a piece of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well,
I forget
like,
what the actual sells.
that's a weird piece of business for me, by the way. Because I'm not mad, but for all intents and purposes, like Paxton wasn't like really gonna break their first team anytime soon, and for Frankfurt to pull like a $3 million profit off that is kind of impressive.
I mean, I think this is under the. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. The Holding the Highline guys who put out an episode like today, so Wednesday. Yep. Compared him to like Cole Bassett, which I thought was pretty apt. As far as what they're getting. Yeah, a weird move. I'm glad he's not in the Eastern Conference, I guess. I would be curious to see how much of that we get back, but it does feel like the team of USMNT rejects trying to find their way back onto the team.
Yeah,
I mean, if he's looking for regular minutes, I guess great, but like,
absolutely, yeah,
is this the best
regular
place to
first
get
team
regular
minutes is the reason he's going to Colorado, because that was never on the cards for him in Germany.
Yep, my tough thing here is like, I mean, he gets regular first team minutes. He probably also gets a pay bump too, which like, great. But this isn't gonna put him closer to the World Cup squad.
No, not at all.
Especially because even though Mauricio Pochettino has no issues calling up players from MLS, going specifically to Purgatory in Colorado is not going to put you closer to a World Cup squad than even if he did this same move and went to LAFC.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The other contract situation happening is Jakob Glesnes gets signed to a new agreement, has been reached on a new contract for the 3-time MLS All-Star defender, according to the Philadelphia Union's Instagram post.
No, JT and the Inquirer did a really nice article on sort of, obviously last year he had the hernia sort of thing, so he was playing hurt all year, and his form this year and Carnell's system sort of played him into this contract. He's a little bit more confident. He's not getting caught upfield as much as he was. When he gets caught, there's more people around him to make plays, which is helpful. And this contract, in a way, I think kind of puts him as the next Alejandro Bedoya, which is a little weird to say, but he's raising his kids here. He's under team control till 2028, right? And I mean, if Bedoya gets his Open Cup win, he's probably done, I would think.
How many times have we said, if XYZ happens, Bedoya's probably...
Well, it hasn't happened yet, Chuck, so we keep having to say it until it happens, and then we get to be wrong. And then we're stuck with Alejandro Bedoya becoming the LeBron James of MLS, brackets longevity. But yeah, a good move. Justin, I'm upset that you forgot that Oliver Semmel moved to North Carolina SC on loan.
I did forget that. Sorry.
Yeah, but so did he probably earlier this week too, so that's okay.
I mean, half the team probably forgot that he still played for the team.
Well, he didn't.
Well, but on the roster, ish.
Yeah, he was
allegedly
he was in training a lot. Yeah,
he was in practice with the team. That's
he was around. Do you think he was one of, and I don't mean, this is not like, he never cracked the first team, and Andrew Rick is obviously our number 2 goalkeeper, so I don't feel bad for saying this, but do you think people would go to like the boot room and be like, whose are those?
I don't think so, but maybe.
No? Yeah, no, because we all have that person at work where you're like, who are you?
No, because they're all still pretty tight knit, even if they don't play.
Chuck, I feel like they told you to say this. You don't have to do what they tell you.
All right, so that's the contract news for the week. Things that are happening around the Union organization. Then there were 3 games on the field that we allegedly need to talk about.
Do we?
The Union started off last week with a 1-1 draw against Toronto, a game in which Indiana Vasilev scored in the 4th minute of the game, and then Toronto scored in the 90 plus minute of the game to get a draw there. And then midweek, the craziest of crazy games happening against the Red Bulls, 3-2 win for the Union, and they move on in the Open Cup. And then we play probably the worst game of the season against the Red Bulls on the weekend and lose 1-0. My big takeaway from this week is soccer is a weird sport, man.
Sure is.
I don't know. What do you guys think of this week and kind of what happened?
This was like the best possible scenario for really bad results. Because all right, so you should have beat Toronto. You just don't close that game out. Fine, whatever. It happens. Not every team can be as clinical as we've been kind of closing out tight games like that. I'd rather us make that mistake, then than a month from now. You do the thing that you have to do, and you beat Red Bull after another rain delay, because I don't know, God hates the U.S. Open Cup being played in the Mid-Atlantic. And you handle that one comfortably, and then you sort of go, bonus money. And yeah, I am glad that Bradley Cornell finally found like a emotion button in his coach's soundboard. Because that's been our kind of through line all this year, where it's like we have a very I don't want to say like tight lip, because I think he's he'll talk to you enough, but he's very deliberate, I guess, about what he says. Which again is fine. But he finally uses probably one of 3 like, what are we doing press conferences that he has, a year. and calls the team out after, yeah, Justin, to your point, like our worst performance this year, and it wasn't even that close. And obviously, snapping that streak, it was always going to happen. I'm glad it wasn't the Open Cup, matchup, but it's a shame to see it go away because it was I thought we were in kind of uncharted territory. So yeah, like bad week for the team. I mean, obviously you get the Open Cup semifinal against Nashville, and then honestly, I think whoever wins that between us and Nashville wins the cup. I just
Don't
really
don't you say that? Don't you say that? Don't.
But like,
how many finals have we been to?
No, hey, I know, but
they've
but
been
I
bad.
think we fight. Yeah,
they've been bad.
No, I know, but but I
we're
still
not going. We are not good. No, we're not doing this. And we can't do this.
But look at the other semifinal. Not
Houston.
These teams.
Houston.
But like Austin and Minnesota, they're not even in the West. They're in the Central. Hell, it's it's actually there's a team in the East, and then two different leagues have never been able to figure out where Nashville should fit in their East or West conference, and then Minnesota, who that's basically an Eastern, that's Buffalo West.
Buffalo West. Okay.
God.
I'm not going there. Chuck, if it's any consolation to you, I'm not going to what happens. We got to beat Nashville first. And we can talk about it then.
I'll take the blame for speaking in existence. I'm just saying, congratulations.
Don't worry, you will get it.
Congratulations, Eastern Conference semifinal winner for winning the 2025 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open
Cup. Okay. Toronto, I thought was fine as a game. I don't think the team played poorly. Just going back and looking at the stats, and kind of what happened in the game. 12 shots, only 3 of them on target, and it just felt like it was one of those nights that just didn't seem like it was going to go our way. So to come out of it with a draw, I'm not all that upset by.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those weeks where things would have been very different if you don't win the game in the middle. Because looking back at Toronto, when Toronto happened, I was pretty upset to give up that goal in stoppage time to then drop 2 points, and that did end up coming back to bite the Union, since now they are no longer in first in the East. Not that we truly expected them to finish the season winning the East. They're still on track to finish in the top 4 as long as nothing too drastic happens.
I mean, you got to come back to we can come back to that at the end of the pod, but I think you say all that, but also we've got 6-point games against Vancouver and Cincy in the span of 3 weeks. So
yeah, I don't. I mean, I have some things to say about those, but
yeah, we'll come back to that.
We'll get there.
We'll come back to that at the end of the pod. So the Toronto game was weird. The New York, the midweek game, Evan, you said we handled New York comfortably. I think that game was anything but comfortable. Carmona scores in the 8th, Baribo scores in the 13th, Choupo-Moting scores in the 71st, Zalosky scores in 74th, and then we finally scored in the 89th minute to win the game. It wasn't comfortable.
Well, so the definition of comfortable, I think it's thrown around a lot, and what most people don't realize is that really, when you go to bed, right, usually you take a long time to actually fall asleep. So comfortably being the last 15 minutes of a game is pretty much on course for what I go through every night, where it's about 45 to 60 minutes of various levels of crisis, and then 15 minutes of got it right where we want it. Then I wake up the next morning and I'm in just suffering. Hey, love to see Milanolowski finish first time for that goal. Was devastated to see Chris Donovan start against Red Bull on the weekend, but we're getting there. We're so close. Yeah, but no. Honestly, great finish by Olowski. Midweek, I have been begging us to find someone who will actually strike a ball first time and put it in the net, and there it is. So that's great. Yeah, I mean, a back and forth game. That's what happens, though. You play Red Bull, and if it's not an absolute car crash, 1-0, it's a 4-2 because they have too much firepower, and I don't know, it just happened. It was rough, but we move on, and we get to beat Hadi Mokhtar and friends in the semifinal, and then we get to win the U.S. Open Cup. I'm so ready to make this happen. I need it. And now that I'm probably the first person to say we're going to do it, I get first crack at raising the trophy.
Do you?
No, I don't.
I thought Macanya's finish was pretty also.
Yep, very good.
To have a center back who can, in the box under pressure, settle the ball and pick out a corner, I feel like that's a pretty good asset to have on your team.
Canner, right?
Also, so like, why were Red Bulls not taking their lineup seriously at the beginning of that game?
Yeah, I had a bunch of thoughts about that during the course of that game. I was trying to figure that out as well, and I kind of came to the conclusion of, if you win the Open Cup but you don't at least make the playoffs, the Open Cup feels even more meaningless. It kind of sends me back to the year that Wigan won the FA Cup and got relegated.
Just stole my reference, but yep, that's exactly what that is.
I think it's like you like win the Open Cup, but like if you don't make the playoffs, who cares that you won the Open Cup? I think it's cooler, like for the Union, when you're still fighting for a treble, like you should fight for the treble, right? But like if you're not going to win the treble, like win the actual cup, not the fake cup.
Yep.
So I think that's where I landed. They didn't take that seriously because they're like, who cares if we lose this if we win on the weekend? So I think in some ways they accomplished what they needed to this week.
But they don't win anything.
Where the Union did not. You're right.
They don't win anything. Like, I understand.
They got really excited they beat us on the weekend, which was a little bit fun.
And they're still below the playoff line after doing that.
Yeah. 1 out of 16.
It definitely is funny. I can't really say them not taking it seriously at the start really worked out in the Union's benefit, just because they made it way too close for comfort and you needed Macania scoring late to actually win the game. But like when those initial lineups came out, it was like, oh, this is what we're doing here. It was more stressful than I expected a game against the Red Bulls to be, but at least came up with the right result.
Yeah. It did come with the right result. Finally. On the weekend then, we lose 1-0 with Alejandro Bedoya, Olivier Mbaizo, and Chris Donovan all in the starting lineup.
And that's all you need to describe that game.
Yeah, bad field. Bad field conditions. Wild that Red Bull had to sell their arena rights to Sports Illustrated, by the way, which is a real publication that still exists in 2025.
Yeah. Blake comes out of that game in the middle of the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Harriel plays all 90 minutes at center back. It didn't feel good.
Shades of last year, for sure.
I just don't, like, to your point, Chuck, like, why did the Red Bulls not take it seriously in the first half of the Open Cup game? Why did we not take it seriously in the first half of this game?
Well, I mean, I at least understand why we didn't take it seriously, because at least, like, you're like, oh, you don't want to push everyone too hard, playing the Open Cup game, then like I don't even want to think about, because Chicago games are just something else in themselves.
Oh,
But
that's right.
like you really prefer to just rest up a little for Chicago, especially since it's like it is hard to beat a team twice in succession, and MLS keeps throwing the Union too many of these. Like I still can't believe that after the original Open Cup quarterfinal was scheduled with a Union Red Bulls back to back, that they set the reschedule date in a back to back.
Yeah, it's wild.
And like it's not like these teams are even in the same state. So it's like, why?
Yeah.
Close enough.
Scheduling. We complain about scheduling all the time.
Been so good this year.
So good.
So good.
The Union have 7 games left in the regular season. By my very quick estimation, as we're talking, 3 of those, 4 of those are against teams who are not above the real playoff line, in the sense that Chicago is in the play-in game, but that doesn't count. New England, DC United, NYCFC. So, I don't know. Things are looking pretty favorable, other than the 2 games against Cincy and Vancouver. But first up is a matchup against Chicago this weekend. Fortunately, it is at Subaru Park and not in Chicago. I don't know. What do you guys think is going to happen this weekend? What do the Union need to do?
I mean, yeah, I don't want, like, I should have done math, but we all know I don't do that. So like, I feel like a win here really sets us up for top 4 nicely. And so like, I think Justin, your point where it's like you're kind of fighting for a treble, but like now that you're in the semis of the Open Cup, your run into the playoffs is basically 2 games against the teams that you're going to fight the supporters shield for, and kind of nobody else. You're playing with house money, as far as no one really thought you were going to make any noise, and now here you are. A win here against Chicago, I think, pretty much sets us up top 4. Unless the wheels absolutely come off, but I don't. Like DC, New England, so yeah, win.
Yeah, I mean,
against Chicago.
Yeah, I think I was just gonna say, I think looking quickly at math or teams that could do something to catch us, if we win this weekend, that puts us on 54 points. At 47 points currently is Orlando, but their run-in is horrid. They still have 2 games against Nashville, Vancouver once, Cincinnati once, Columbus once, and then they play Toronto and DC United. So they've got a pretty horrendous run-in as far as teams that they play. Inter Miami is at 45. They have so many games left. I'm not even going to look at their schedule right now. And then Columbus has they've got a lot of teams outside the playoff line. So Columbus could make a move if they actually did make a move, but they're still, at 54 points, that's 9 points ahead of where Columbus is currently, and 9 points with 7 games to go or 6 games to go is not favorable to catch us. And that would be the Union not getting any points out of all those games that we just talked about.
Which includes like a bottom of the barrel DC team and like the Revs who can't figure anything out.
Yes. So I would agree. I think a win this weekend puts us in pretty good shape for finishing top 4, based on the fact that you think we're probably going to get a couple more wins in the last 7 games of the season.
I mean, I think this is a must win to finish top 4, because I see at best is a draw against Cincinnati. And then considering it's right before Open Cup, are they really going to like send and
Are you
start actual
prioritizing
players in
Vancouver
Vancouver?
over? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like hard to see that happening. And then if they win in the Open Cup and book their place in the final, that's when you maybe have more disappointment against New England on the other end of it.
Oh no. If you make the Open Cup final this year, if Bradley Carnell wants to do his best Greg Popovich, where you make the league mad, you're sitting so many of your big name players, do it. Trot out a starting 11 of Chris Donovan and 10 people I have never heard of in my life, and I will be as happy as a clam if we're in the Open Cup final, and that means you get all of your starters on like a week and a half of rest. Yeah. Winning here against Chicago like sets us up really nicely for whatever they cook up roster rotation wise for the rest of the season.
Chuck, I'm not saying we beat Cincinnati 4-1 again, but we already did do that this season.
Oh, what if we did though?
So I'm wondering why your hesitation on, hey, we can't beat Cincinnati or a draw is the best we're gonna get.
I just think, especially away to Cincinnati, and with them more or less picking up their form from at the beginning of this year. I mean, they've still had some weird results and have given up more goals than you would expect, but if Evander shows up, he's quite hard to stop.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he is pretty good.
Although they did just thrash Portland, so like that doesn't count, right?
I don't know what to make of Portland anymore. I really don't. I hate that team. I hate their coach, and somehow they just like keep randomly winning things that you don't expect them to.
Yeah, there's a personal chip on the shoulder too of that game of Evander being like, I gotta show this team what's up.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have that with us. So
no, it's just the rest of Cincinnati that has that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hey, we have until tomorrow to sign Evander though. Window closes Thursday.
Maybe we do. Anyway. Yeah, so I think we need to win against Chicago. That'll set us up for a good run into the end of the season. We play the Cincinnati game the week after, and then we have 2 weeks until we play Vancouver. And then we have a weird only 3-day break until we play Nashville. So it's going to be an interesting run into the end of the season. We'll see what happens. Guys, anything else you want to talk about? Make sure we hit tonight. Great.
No,
let us know what you think. Yeah, okay, good. You can find us at VFTB Pod wherever you find us on the internet. Leave comments on YouTube on the shorts or the full show, and we'll talk about them in our next episode. But we'd love to hear from you guys, so let us know what you think, and we'll be back with more Union content next week.